Welcome to the next module. This is the full budget. Now that we've covered the easy wins, and now that we know we're going to save them, let's define what we mean by the correct way to budget. And then let's look at the different parts of your budget so that in your head, just like at the grocery store, actually, you'll know which aisle you're looking at.
Right. So you're not in the wrong place looking for savings that's not there. So the big question, the first one, Kathleen, that you mentioned is which budget is right for you? And the fights online about which budget you should use, we're all about those because anytime we can see a big fight, it is so fun. You get out the popcorn and it's fantastic. Because Kathleen, I know you've got a budget you like best.
I do.
I have a budget I like best. And I'll tell you right now, here's the best one. You ready?
Yours?
Of course it's mine. It's actually the one that you're going to use. Because according to a recent Gallup poll, only 1 in 3 people actually use a budget. And what's interesting is Gallup also looked at who budgets, right? If you were educated and you make more than $75,000 per year, like the more education you had, and if you made more than $75,000 a year, you were more likely to budget. And isn't that weird? Not about the education, because I kind of get that. The more education you have, the more you realize that science wins. But about people with more money being more likely to budget. It seems like if you don't have a lot of money, that's when you really need a budget, not when it's more plentiful. Don't get me wrong. Budgeting's great for everybody, but really, if money's tight, more need for a budget than ever for those people.
You know what's funny though is when money was really, really tight for me, and when I was on a strict debt repayment plan, I never understood why I would need a budget. I thought, goodness gracious, it's not like I'm spending any more money than is necessary. It's all going somewhere.
Did you just say, goodness gracious, are you 107?
I know. Yes. I'm 107 and it's 1954.
But I get that point of view because I understand that if money's tight and you know where every dollar's going because money's so tight that a budget is in your head. I mean, you've got that. So maybe that's the reason why. But regardless, let's look at the line items that we're going to use because we're not going to tell you whether to use what's called a zero-sum budget like Dave Ramsey's plan uses, YNAB uses, which is you need a budget, or that a program like Envelopes uses, or if you use a more forward-looking budget like just using Mint and planning out where you're going to spend money and then having alerts set up. Budget is budget is budget. You decide which one, and we're not going to get involved there. But where we will get involved is making sure that you know that the line items for your budget that we use, you know what the terminologies are because there's lots of different types of expenses that we're going to talk about. And we need to tell you what jargon that we're using so you can get the most out of this course. Break them down anywhere you want. We're just going to show you how we do it here. So for just a second, we're going to hit the pause button and go over 3 areas that you're going to see from us.
Okay, so with these expenses, let's pull up that spreadsheet that's linked to down below this video where you can see how we have them laid out.
You're going to notice 3 things. You'll notice a lot of expenses are household expenses. In the business, we call those non-discretionary expenses because we're not going to be able to cut very much, Kathleen. We're going to be able to cut some, but not a ton. So we're actually going to spend the least amount of time on these. And if you're looking for hints on these, I'll tell you that every single place except household expenses is a better place to look. Discretionary expenses are where you'll see most of the online community live saying, don't go out to eat as much, which is what we went out on earlier. But there's other discretionary expenses you'll see along that list. But the big boy and the one that we're going to start with is debt repayment plans because most people don't spend the right amount of time structuring their debt in a way like a company would. We get emotional about our debt. We don't want to do that. So we're going to start there. And actually, that ends this module, Kathleen. Ready to dig in?
Yes, absolutely.
So grab a sheet of paper, take a quick break, and come right back for the next module, debt restructuring.